I have seen a black and white movie called Sabrina from 1954. Audrey Hepburn appears as the daughter of a Chable family's driver. The story revolves around the rivalry between the two sons of the Chable family over the beautiful driver's daughter. As befits a mansion of an Irish tycoon, there is an indoor tennis court. There is a scene where the eldest son of the tycoon dances with Humphrey Bogart, a popular actor of the time, on the court. It seems that tennis was a sport enjoyed by the upper class. By the way, I wonder if they were doing tennis wall practice back then. In fact, there are people who question whether wall practice would be helpful in a relative sport. Additionally, there are those who underestimate wall practice. However, it can not only have a surprisingly significant training effect, but also be essential training for rapid growth. First, let's try Roger Federer's wall hitting technique. You can see the serve, forehand, backhand, and split step being executed accurately. In particular, today I want to actively encourage wall practice for beginners and those with less than 2 years of experience. Of course, it is also very good for intermediate and advanced players to train alone and maintain their skills, as well as for warming up. So what are the benefits of wall practice? First, you can practice controlling the strength of your shots. 2, you can control the ball. 3, you can achieve effects beyond image training. 4, there are exercise benefits. 5, you can practice various techniques such as 5, serve, volley, forehand, and backhand. Let's take a look at wall hits for those with less than 2 years of experience. There are movements that do not contribute to skill development. If beginners and those with less than 2 years of experience practice wall hits incorrectly, it can actually have the opposite effect. Swinging wildly, hitting randomly, and moving around aimlessly will only provide exercise benefits. The ball control necessary for tennis has no effect at all. In fact, since your posture can deteriorate or become fixed in a bad position, it is important to be aware of the precautions when practicing against a wall. The most important training aspect of wall hitting is ball control. It is important to hit exactly where I need to and to make the ball come to the position I want. So what would be the best way to do it? First, focus solely on the forehand and then move on to the backhand. Always prioritize your stance and think of it as a racket version of towel spinning. The first step is to perform slow wall hits with only the forehand while keeping the left foot stationary and moving only the right foot. If you're left-handed, do it the other way around. It is to make the ball hit against the wall come back in a way that makes it easy to hit again without moving both feet as much as possible. Minimizing movement while hitting against the wall. Minimizing movement and making the ball come back comfortably towards your body are methods to improve ball control. The most important training effect in wall hitting here is ball control. A full swing without a split step is essential, and you should practice wall hitting slowly with just your forehand. You cannot move on to the next stage until you complete the first stage. Once you become proficient, you should be able to hit the wall slowly from a standing position without moving your feet for more than 10 times. No, the maximum should be that the left foot is fixed and only the right foot can move, and it should be possible to do this more than 10 times. In step 2, perform a light full swing against the wall using only the forehand along with a split step. Make it come towards my body as much as possible and gradually move it left and right. Like Federer's wall hitting, the split step is a basic requirement, and in the third stage you can hit freely, starting slowly and then hitting as hard as you can. Once you become free up to the third stage like this, you can move from the first to the third stage with your backhand. But what should you do if you can't reach the first stage? If you have never taken a lesson or are a complete beginner, and if there are a few months of difference, the wall practice level 1 can be difficult. However, if you just swing wildly and hit without control, your form can deteriorate, your fundamentals can be damaged, or you may become stuck in an awkward swing position, so you need to be very careful. First, hold the racket with a continental grip. And I focus mainly on the forehand, hitting it in a slice form against the wall. From a distance of about 2 meters from the wall, I lightly hit in a slice form. As shown in the video, it is a very light hit without a take back, hitting lightly with the racket within the red dotted lines. You must be able to do it more than 10 times without possible movement, or in a state where you can only move your right foot while keeping your left foot fixed. Once this stage becomes easier, you will move back to the wall hit forehand stage 1. Beginners and those with less than 2 years of experience may find it difficult to hit slowly. The fact that you can't hit slowly means that your ball control is still inexperienced. If you don't reach level 1 in the serve, you shouldn't move on to level 1 in the forehand. If it's not working, just hit slower, meaning send the ball higher. You can gradually increase your speed. Wall kicks have the advantage of being able to train alone in various ways without much resistance. The important thing is that reckless kicking is not helpful. You must thoroughly master the first stage of the forehand before moving on. Only then will your ball control improve. Training indoors with towel drills and practicing against a wall outdoors will be extremely helpful. For beginners and those with less than 2 years of experience, it's essential to always keep the correct steps and movements in mind while practicing against the wall to maximize effectiveness, even if you have more than 5 years or over 10 years of experience. If you're in a slump or your growth is slow, it's important to return to your original mindset and check your fundamentals. One effective way to reassess those fundamentals is by utilizing wall drills. You need to reconsider and check each fundamental skill, such as serves, forehands, backhands, and volleys. It might be good to think about what top-ranked players lack that makes them willing to pay a lot for a coach. In the process of hitting a moving ball, there are countless actions and repetitions, and the possibility of gradually changing is always there. That is why there is a reason to regularly check whether the fundamentals are being well maintained. In fact, I can confidently say that there is no one among fellow enthusiasts who enjoys receiving advice or criticism. The reason is, as mentioned last time, most people strangely think that their skills are good. Since most people dislike receiving advice or criticism, it is rare to find enthusiasts who experience gradual growth. What is clear is that the time when one receives criticism is the stage of greatest growth. Those who check advice and feedback through YouTube or other practices and who review their own games are definitely people who experience gradual growth. Wall hitting is a method to maximize one's ball control. If wall practice becomes as free as Federer, then all that's left is to get used to the relative ball on the court. Surely, a small difference will lead to a big difference. Please subscribe and send us some love today too.